stage for the rematch of last year's national championship game between the Maryland Terps and the Boston College Eagles. As we enter championship
off the season, not ranked in the top 15. They climbed their way in, were seeded number 3 coming into this NCAA tournament, and beat UNC for the second time this season. They've proved any doubters, if there are any left, that wrong.
So James Madison is in. Who they play is still yet to be determined. Of Dempsey Arsenal this year.
Yesterday after practice, this Boston College staff told me Dempsey Arsenal has played every minute of every game for us. We ask everything of her, and she delivers 100% of the time. She produces offensively. She dominates 50-50 battles, and she oftentimes matches up against the opposition's best offensive midfielder.
Dempsey Arsenal, take a look at the numbers over her first 2 seasons compared to what she's been able to do here in 2018. 59 goals along with 34 assists. She has been that second counterpunch that Boston College has been looking for this year, alongside Wharton finalist Sam Apuzzo. A rocking environment here at Laval Stadium on the campus of Stony Brook University. Maryland, the number 1 seed, the Big Ten champs once again, looking to defend their title this weekend in Long Island. And for Boston College, seeing it's all about trying to get redemption from a year ago. Weinstein, the ACC Coach of the Year in her 6th season guiding Boston College. She knows a thing or two. Game for the first time ever. Meanwhile, for Maryland, we touched upon Megan Whittle, the Wharton finalist, 23 in white for Maryland, who has been a decorated star for Kathy Reese in her 12th season, guiding this Maryland program. The Big Ten Coach of the Year, 11 national championships, 4 of them coming as a head coach. She was part of that decorated run for Maryland, go back from 95 all the way to 2001. Maryland in their home white, the number 1 seed in this NCAA tournament. Boston College in their road maroon, as it will be Apuzzo and Kaylee Hartshorn at the draw control circle.
This is a matchup that many have wanted to see this year. Both excellent draw takers. Kaylee Hartshorn from Maryland, really, she was phenomenal last year. Has been very just consistent this year, but the last few games has really taken her game to a new level.
And the draw control. Their only loss this year was to North Carolina in overtime. As we just saw the Tar Heels lose to James Madison in the first national semifinal. An attack unit led by Lauren Daly, and it took Maryland just 53 seconds into this national semifinal to take the early lead.
Caroline Steele has really excelled this season, showing she's a threat inside, catching and then releasing the shot. Also a dodging ability, can feed as well. She takes her defender one-on-one, then pulls it out outside, almost to the 8-meter, and then just her guard Megan Whittle too. So that is a tactic that is used against Whittle, and many different teams have tried it. Some release off of it, but oftentimes she'll just pull herself out of play, which opens up more opportunities and spacing for Maryland.
Caroline Steele with the goal, her 59th of the season. She was Boston College's kryptonite last year in the national championship game with 6 goals and an assist. 2 draw controls, both won by Maryland.
We see this relentless pursuit. I mean, this is draw controls are going to be hotly contested. Great effort by Maryland securing that possession.
Maryland facing a defense in Boston College with Miller, Walsh, and Bell, the returning defensive unit from a year ago for Boston College.
Oh, we're seeing a yellow card being issued against BC. Check to the head.
It's going to go against the junior, Christina Walsh.
So take a look here. I didn't see any contact made there from the replay. If it's deemed, it can be a danger check. Doesn't necessarily have to be
this opening half. Already Caroline Steele with the first goal for Maryland. Feet in front, shot to the back of the cage, and Maryland in the blink of an eye has a 2-0 advantage. Hartshorn with the goal, her 35th of the season.
See the Maryland alum getting into this celebration. Hartshorn's been so effective at winning draw controls this year, but has stepped up her scoring game as well. Jen Giles up top, Hartshorn in the inside, really does a nice job of corner.
Might be credit to the pregame meal that Hartshorn has every time. Some meat and potatoes to go along with that fire that we have seen from Hartshorn with her first goal in this national semifinal. College. Draw control, third time won by Maryland into the stick of Megan Whittle, 23 in white. As we see another goal on cage, a 3-0 advantage for the Terps.
Maryland couldn't be drawing up these first few possessions any better, winning the draw controls. Great opportunities, multiple different goal scorers. Caroline Steele with the first, Hartshorn, Jen Giles. Does a nice job of moving the ball, and then, as I just mentioned, the no lapses on offense. So keep this up.
Boston College winning their first draw control. Elizabeth Miller the AC. For Boston College, Hallie, what's it going to take for the Eagles to come away victorious?
On the free position attempts, the Terps are converting on 51% of all of those.
Circling around the crease and answering for Boston College. The Eagles, Dempsey Arsenal, with the score, her 60th goal of the year, and a very much needed goal for Boston College.
As a junior, Hallie talked about in the Open, just has done a phenomenal job exploding her scoring efforts. A lot of them were operating from behind the goal cage, utilizing that crease. She was able to use a stutter step move to get open and free. And Arsenal with a great first goal of the game for
that game was Dempsey Arsenal off the feed from Sam Apuzzo. And here tonight, Arsenal, the incredibly gifted junior midfielder, gets the first goal. Leads it behind cage. For Boston College, Coach Walker Weinstein made a point to say last year's team was a different team. This year's team took a different path to get to the championship weekend. For a program very much on the rise, Emma Schur trying to go wrap around in the crease. And she in a challenge tonight for Boston College. A defense that is led by Julia Brigg, 24 in white, their #1 defender, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, forcing the cause turnover. Maryland working it in transition. As Jen Giles, 5 in white, controls to the point for Maryland. A number of weapons at the disposal for Kathy Reese, as this Maryland program trying to make it 3 national titles in the last 4 years. Inside that 8-meter arc, Hartshorn, and a whistle.
We'll see a 3-second violation. So that's when a player, defensive player's in that 8-meter arc for more than 3 seconds without guarding a player within a stick sling. So it's a safety call, prevents crowding in front of the goal, so you can safely get a shot off.
Hartshorn will be the one taking the free position shot. One-on-one with the lefty, Lauren Daly. That one to the back of the cage, and a free position shot for Maryland extends their lead to 4-1.
Hartshorn had the second goal, now the 4th goal for Maryland. This was a beauty of a shot. I think one that Daly wants back, but watch the placement of her stick. She drops it down low.
This is a team that's just so effective on the free position. A third of this team's total offense in 2018 is generated off of that 8-meter. This Maryland team is a team that is the 4th lowest in fouls per game. Boston College, though, not that far behind, 16th.
And Boston College could not handle it at the end line.
So watch Walker come around, spins, and then shoots that's actually a little bit stick side and high. So much easier shot for Taylor to read there, but her quick reaction is able to come up with the save.
Taylor, as mentioned, the Big Ten goalie of the year, a save percentage of 48% on the year. Just under 10 goals allowed. One of the nation's top goalies. And more importantly, she understands the pressure. As a freshman, she lost the national championship against North Carolina as Caroline Steele, that one to the back of the cage. The back netting as Daly comes up with the clear. And then Taylor rebounded last year with a national championship win against Boston College.
Both these teams pride themselves on their defensive ride, making it hard for teams to clear the ball down the field. Any pressure you put on a team clearing the ball will limit the amount of time they have on the possession clock.
As Taylor, 25 in maroon, elects to give it off to Kalen Hart, the senior attacker out of Babylon, New York. This one shot, and Taylor once again there on the stop for Maryland. Megan Taylor, who had 7 saves in the first half of the title game a year ago, finished with 12. Already with 2 early stops against BC's offense.
And that was a really nice save, that last shot attempt for BC. For a defense that was relatively young and experienced for Maryland, it's been very nice for them to have Megan Taylor in cage, just that familiar, a lot of game experience.
Bouncer at the knees, Daly with the save. As Giles came up with the shot for Maryland, gets her own rebound, sets it up to Hench. And it will be shooting space and another free position shot coming up for the Terps. At over 51%. Hench.
Looks like she got fouled again. Hench, we saw in the Maryland's game against Princeton, come up with the game-winning goal.
Hench, who had a hat trick in the quarterfinal win over Navy, sets up for the free position shot. Back of the net and scores. Taylor Hench with the goal to give Maryland a 5-1 lead.
Hench just so composed under pressure. A senior doesn't always get a lot of the glory, although she's been a consistent performer. Watch just she does a nice job of being deceptive right there on the 8-meter. You can see Daly go for the fakes and drop low. Hench reads that and is able to fire it high.
Her 33rd of the season for the senior out of Woodstock, Maryland. back to the draw control circle.
One of the reasons Maryland's so tough to stop, Megan Whittle, the leading goal scorer for Maryland, being face guarded by Boston College, of being effectively taken out of the game, and that Maryland tries to, well, really, that's their game plan. If someone face guards Whittle, they'll pull her out, gives more space for everybody else. So they're not trying to get her to the ball, but so many other people can score. So you take her out, but then you open it up for players like Caroline Steele, Jen Giles, Hartshorn, Hench.
And the numbers back it up, Sheehan. Coming into this game, if you face guarded Whittle, the rest of the team scoring nearly 230 goals. Draw control once again won by Maryland as Grace Griffin, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, 22 in white, controls at the point for the Terps. Maryland a year ago with a perfect season, the first one since 2001. And now another foul goes against Boston College.
I believe a 3-second violation. So once again, just a defender sitting inside that 8-meter arc. You need to make sure if you're inside there, you can either get to a player within a 6 length and then retreat out.
The 8th foul against Boston College sets up a free position goal. Opportunity here for Maryland. As you notice on the top right of your screen, Whittle being face guarded. The Tewarton finalist for the Terps as Daly comes away with the save. Whittle, who has so many different accolades. I mean, the argument certainly can be made that she is one of, if not the greatest.
Career.
As Tess Chandler and Kayleen Hart swarm in front of the cage and
Chandler's 44th goal this season. At 6 feet tall, she uses her height extremely well. Nice job, just hesitating a little bit, gets her defender just a little bit off balance, and cuts to the inside. Just shifty, quick moves, not much of an angle here. There's probably 4 inches of room that she's able to slip that ball in past Megan Taylor.
A 3-sport athlete in high school, volleyball, basketball, and lacrosse. And here she has Boston College back within 3 of Maryland. As Apuzzo and Hartshorn back to the draw control circle. An absolutely beautiful night here at Laval Stadium at Stony Brook. A packed house on hand to watch the rematch of last year's national championship game. Far side as Maryland controls the draw. Whittle. And that is going to draw a yellow card.
I thought the same thing too. I don't think she's reaching into her pocket. But
I thought for a moment she was going to. It looked and appeared after the way Whittle went down.
Whittle's goggles do fall off her head a couple times a game, though. I'm not sure, couldn't tell contact was made there, but definitely a foul on that check.
Giles to the point, right wing, it's Steele. And now shooting space once again. Caroline Steele will have an opportunity with a free possession shot. The fouls continue to rack up for Boston College, make that now 11 against the Eagles. Steele. Shot on the run. Daly was anticipating it, down to her knees to make the stop for BC. Lauren Daly, the junior out of New York, replacing
3-second calls typically being handed out. They think their girls are doing a good job getting in and out of that 8-meter.
Great feedback. It's hard to tell often if the coaching staff is yelling at directions to players to move and get out of there, or if they think that they're in that required amount of time, which is a subjective count.
As Hart angles her way back to the cage off the right side against Taylor. Will stay with Boston College. You can tell the relentlessness offensively by one Kayleen Hart. Playing in front of her home fans. Circles around the crease. Great give. Shot on the run. The bouncer just misses by Arsenal. A reset of the possession clock.
And on that little flip pass, Apuzzo, who flipped that, was wide open when the double team came. So they could run that more from up top, try to create some openings. Dodging
to the cage is Apuzzo, 81 goals on the season. Now the caused turnover forced by Maryland's defensive unit. A unit led by Julia Brigg, along with Lizzie Colson, who might be one of the best two-way middies in the country. The Terp Nation is in full effect, trying to get into the minds of their opponents. As Apuzzo sends it, and a setup of shop offensively for Boston College. Apuzzo, who was named the ACC attack.
But she's really not been able to get in a rhythm, and that's what you want. You want your star players to have a couple touches of the ball, have some success carrying it, create some space, because you don't want them just getting frustrated early in the game.
Good speed in front. Apuzzo shot on the run. Chest high with Taylor on the save. Megan Taylor, the junior, who once again has been a factor against Boston College, and now a whistle.
It'll stay Bragg's ball.
Bouncer that gets past Daly, it appears. And count the goal for Maryland. Taylor Hench with her second strike for the Terps.
Second goal of the night for Taylor Hench. She goes, drives hard, follows in into the crease there, but the goal counts. Maryland's up.
Second national semifinal, Boston College and Maryland, as the winner of this one will face off with James Madison in the championship game on Sunday. And for Boston College, and Hallie, for Megan Taylor, she knows about pressure because of her younger years with her older brothers, one of which has an immediate impact on this Maryland program.
giving her tips, and he's really just been a star here for this Maryland team. He gets his sister in the zone, and then to help them prepare to square off against Lauren Daly, he did a great job hopping in goal himself yesterday, throwing some left-handed looks at this Maryland offense.
Yeah, and it goes back to their childhood days, Sheehan, when Megan and her brothers would play pickup basketball. She would get all the way up to 9, trying to play till 10, and then the pressure would build up. So she's been category. And it's won by Maryland, quickly off to the races of the Terp. Here, as Brindy Griffin, one in white, circles the crease, looking to feed. Shot on the run, that one just missed, and Hartshorn took a hit right after that shot.
BC doing a much better job staying out of 3 seconds in this possession, so made some adjustments.
Megan Syverson, the Louisville transfer, gets shooting space. As Grace Griffin, 22 in white, dodging to the cage, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, 29 goals on the season. As Giles feeds it in front, stays with Steele.
Watch right here, watch this replay. And you can see there, Caroline Steele stepped on that blue line, the crease area. That should have been a turnover there. You're not able to step, any part of your foot is not able to step inside of. The defender can run through the crease, not the offensive player.
Caroline Steele, whose mother played lacrosse at Maryland. Giles, the bouncer, Daly anticipating it with the stop, picks it up in the crease. And Boston College with a clearing attempt.
Hard for Boston College really to get any rhythm. Maryland's had a lot of success, and there's been a lot of calls defensively on BC, setting Maryland at the 8-meter, which they're extremely successful at converting on.
14 fouls for Boston College compared to the 2 against Maryland. BC, who had to face off with Stony Brook in the quarterfinals, matched up more in a zone defense here. Maryland man-to-man. Spin move by Apuzzo, draws contact, shot past Taylor, emphatically drops her stick, and gets the answer much needed for Boston College.
That'll get some momentum going for Sam Apuzzo. 82nd goal this season. Been frustrated handling a shot placed at the Boston College needs. Non-stick side, hip level, low.
And Apuzzo with that goal now with 119 points this season, breaking the BC single season record. A year ago, Apuzzo led the nation in scoring. Here tonight, picks up her 82nd of the season and splits the difference in half for Boston College, down 6-3. Face off once again won by Hartshorn and Maryland. When you look at their draw control, what makes them so effective inside the circle?
You know, it becomes, there's a lot that you can't teach, and that's the heart and hustle aspect of it, just attacking the ball, making sure you're in good positioning, boxing out. But the center people, both Hartshorn and Apuzzo, when they go for it, their wrist strength, just the reaching for the ball and anticipating where it's going to go.
And Maryland, it can't be understated enough. The fact that they've got a 6-3 lead as Megan Whittle continues to be face guarded.
Looks like we're calling a hold.
And Whittle will have a free position shot coming up.
So a hold off ball. So I love when officials are looking at the play off ball. You don't just want to get your eyes set and lost on ball play. So off ball, make sure that everyone's playing legally as well.
Whittle with 36 free position shots and goals on the season. That one off the mark. Elizabeth Miller, 3 in maroon, is the one face guarding Whittle. The ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Down the alley, shot high. Daly again with the save for Boston College.
Daly stood strong. They really took the angle away from Jen Giles by coming up a little bit higher in that crease area. Giles just needs to shoot around. Sometimes when the goalie comes out higher in the crease, you get tempted to shoot right at them for some reason, but just take that extra second and get it past them.
5th save for Daly. Attempt, and Boston College starting to put a run together, down 6-4.
The BC fans in their neon yellow. Walker, the junior, 20th goal this season. Great finish on this 8-meter. Attacks the cage hard, gets more spacing, and then just is able to use a little twitch of the wrist to get nice placement. And she just dances outside that crease area, making sure she doesn't run into that.
Allie, you had a chance yesterday to be at the Boston College practice, went through a number of various scenarios, but it's that boxer mentality that they got throughout the year that has really started to prevail for Boston.
Big and thinking that they can do it. She said, we have to come out here and fight, but also believe that, you know, we belong here and we can do this.
Acacia Walker-Weinstein, in her 6th season, the ACC Coach of the Year, has really built a solid foundation with this program. You think about Daly, you think about Apuzzo, Arsenal, Kenzie Kent coming back next year, along with one of the top recruiting classes in the country as well.
And so many juniors, that junior just winning that draw control, Sam Apuzzo, back next year.
Kayleen Hart, 7 in maroon, takes it just on the outskirts of that 12-meter fan. As Taylor Walker sends it down the alley behind the crease.
And you can see what getting possession does, whether it's from a goalie save or the draw control. They're attacking hard. Just watch again, operating from behind the goal, doing a nice job, just creating spaces. Slide for Maryland.
And one of 4 siblings for the senior attacker who has helped BC's offense now orchestrate 3 goals in a span of just over 2 minutes. Draw control to Boston College, and that contingent that made
get the ball up and away from Hartshorn, who's just been having a lot of success putting the ball where she needs to put it. She's not using a mesh pocket, but she's using a traditionally strong draw stick.
And they're going to change it back and forth throughout the game. Apuzzo quickly on the other end. Maryland led by Giles, far side of the field, 5 in white for the Terps. As we're approaching the final 10 minutes of this first half. The second national semifinal, a rematch, in fact, of last year's title game that was won by Maryland, one of 13 national championships for this historic program. The barometer, the gold standard, if you will, of success in women's lacrosse.
Such a successful run, such a familiar face this Final Four weekend.
Giles, great setup pass in front. That one over the crossbar. What a shot attempt put together by the Terps, but it leads to a turnover back to Boston College.
Huge hustle, defensive effort to come up with that errant shot.
Hallie, if you're Boston College, you've got the momentum back. You're only down by 1 goal. How do you approach this offensive possession?
You know, I think you have to approach it just all business. Use the clock to your advantage. Don't feel rushed just because the momentum's in your favor.
What a move to the back of the cage. Are you kidding me, Taylor Walker?
Walker just 19 goals coming into this game.
These two teams, Boston College and Maryland, met 1 year ago in Foxborough in the national championship game. 6 goals from Caroline Steele, tying an NCAA championship game record. Megan Whittle also chipped trailed. And this season, as we take a look at the dominance by Maryland over the years, there hasn't been as quite of an easy of a journey.
Coach Reese saying that it took a lot of the pressure off. That, you know, her team hasn't lost a lot in their career, and being undefeated last year, there might have been a lot of pressure that the players are feeling, and losing, it took it off from them, and they've excelled, won the Big Ten championship, undefeated in the Big Ten play, which is such a competitive conference. But right now, after we saw Maryland just explode to that 6-2 lead, and Boston College has rattled off the goal. So one of those areas that we were talking about, a little offensive lull. Get it outside. That one goes just right outside the draw circle. Great pickup.
Quickly won by Apuzzo. Kathy Rutkin, the transfer from Syracuse. Urbank, right wing, and inside that 8-meter arc will lead to a free position opportunity for Boston College.
Boston College did a great job there of moving the ball once they felt the pressure, able to draw the foul, but being very unselfish, not forcing through that. And in turn, they get fouled, set up with a nice angle for an 8-meter.
Maryland's so dangerous in this situation, 6th in the nation in terms of shooting percentage, and yet Boston College on the other end answers with another strike of their own, and like that, Boston
You just sense a calmness through BC after climbing back. Sea sticks for Maryland.
Brother John at your alma mater at Georgetown, and here tonight the sophomore coming away with a pair of goals that has put Boston College in the driver's seat in this national semifinal. 2 goals for Urbank in less than a minute. Draw control won once again by Boston College.
It's amazing how the tide can turn. Maryland winning those first couple draw controls. Oftentimes it takes the center draw specialist a few times just to realize, what is this person doing? Are they pushing? Are they pulling? How are they operating? What can you do differently to try to win that? That's one of BC's strengths this year, that Acacia Walker-Weinstein has felt, that having, just a whole, just real focus on the draw. Having Kayla Trainer on the staff, she said it's basically like scientific. They have a real science to the art of the draw.
Trainer, who in practice played the role of Megan Whittle. Caused turnover, leads to transition for Maryland. Pass Daly, and Maryland has an answer in the form of Jen Giles, her second of the night.
Perfect answer of a goal for Jen Giles. Such a leader on this field. Even when Navy was making a comeback in last week's game for Maryland, Giles was one of the players along with Megan Whittle that stepped up, made a statement. Watch her fight through that. She drew the foul in the meantime, but instead of just forcing the shot through the double team where you know that's not going to go in, somehow she's able to maintain composure and get free and get the shot off for a score.
Jen Giles, a junior from Maryland. Her sister, Jacqueline, also played lacrosse at your alma mater. Here tonight at Laval Stadium, the former Maryland coach, part of that great dynasty from 95 to 2001, winning a national championship every year in that span.
And what she's done at the Naval Academies, getting to the Final Four last year. They gave Maryland a real game last week, really tested them. It was a great game to watch.
Steele, the lefty, 11 in white, just on the outer boundary of that 8-meter fan. And shooting space is going to come again to Maryland after the Boston College foul.
I think they'll call for a hard check to cross into the body on Hench there. Different refs, you have to adjust your defense depending on how they're going to call it. You see the extension of the arms a little bit, maybe a bit high as well.
18th foul committed against Boston College compared to just 4 against Maryland. Lauren Daly certainly has been putting a lot of time in today. That shot just off the left side of the netting into the crease, and Daly and Boston College once again answers this relentlessness in terms of Maryland's offense. Less than 6 minutes to go. Allie, once we saw from Boston College in terms of the half-field set, Maryland's defense, though, able to utilize BC's offense really when it comes to the transition game.
Maryland attackers have done a great job redefending, and if you look, it's taken Boston College 20, 30, 40 seconds to clear the ball, and that's all time that their offense doesn't have the ball.
And a turnover by Boston College. Maryland will have possession with under 5 minutes to go. The 5th turnover for Boston College in this game.
Just one for Maryland, but a clean game turnover-wise for Maryland.
Julie Brigg brings it up, draws contact. The Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year in Julia Brigg. And that has been a trademark for Maryland. You go back to Alice Mercer, Nadine Hadnaghy, all Big Ten Defensive Player of the Years. That has been with Maryland, however.
Looks like they're calling 3 seconds now on Boston College. So off ball, even though Whittle was taking that ball far away to isolate.
Megan Whittle, a 4-time high school state champion at McDonough, a powerhouse in the state of Maryland, never lost a game in her entire high school career. The bouncer past Daly. Whittle is on the board, and more importantly, Maryland is in the lead.
We talked about Maryland's efficiency on the 8-meter, but Megan Whittle's been a big part of that. Excellent shooting percentage, 84th goal this season. Just explodes, gets a step up, just nice bounce shot. Doesn't make it too tricky.
Megan Whittle, who now has 298 goals in her career, 2 away from that historic 300 mark, and just a number of accolades, not only in her career, but this season for one of the nation's best.
You see, a lot of times teams will try to foul her to slow her down, and that's really the only way you can stop her going to goal. 3rd in the NCAA for free position goals per game. She's scored 37 of 61 free position shots this season. She's taken more than double the amount of free positions on anybody else in the team.
And if you're wondering how she's been able to handle slow starts in the NCAA tournament, go back to the quarterfinal against Navy, where she had a hat trick in the final 11 minutes. Here's Urbank already with 2 goals. Apuzzo circles around the cage. Marked by her defender, nearly goes behind the back. However, Taylor was able to anticipate it the entire time. Wow, that could have been a SportsCenter top 10 if that went in.
Watch Apuzzo, great defensive effort by Brigg right here. And somehow, she doesn't have a great angle at all right there, but with that behind the back shot, she gets a look at more of the goal. Just it went high towards Taylor's stick. She's able to come up with that easy save there.
She's got 5. Meanwhile, the cause turnover forced by Elizabeth Miller, 3 in maroon. In transition, one-on-one with Syverson.
See, that's an easy way to see shooting space if you're not sure what they're calling. The whole reason for the call.
Miller, the #1 defender for Boston College, with free possession. And that one takes a dangerous hit to the head. Miller goes down instantly. Coach Walker Weinstein crediting Miller with someone who can master the role that she's been given. A chance for BC to tie it up.
Smart move there. You don't have to take that 8-meter opportunity. So many different people that can put the ball in the back of the net for this Boston College team. Second goal of the night for Chandler. What patience. I mean, this is when coaches say, take the extra second. This is what they're talking about. Great footwork behind the cage. Cross crease pass right there. Chandler doesn't have it, but then she gets Megan Taylor completely out of positioning by moving with the ball and the fake. You see her dive and fall, and then Chandler's able to find the net.
The redshirt senior using all 6 feet to her advantage over Taylor, and has tied this one up on her second goal of the night. 45 in total, and yeah, I would be smiling too if I was Coach Walker Weinstein after that performance on that goal. Hallie, from your vantage point, what was thought to be a Maryland rout early on has just turned out to be a really hotly contested battle between two top teams. What's the vibe on the sidelines for both these teams?
There's just nothing but sheer excitement for this Boston College team. I mean, I think especially after that Chandler goal from such a low angle, Coach Acacia Walker went over to Chandler. She's like, I don't know how you got that in. I mean, it's just, yeah, I think there's a lot of energy. And for Maryland, it's just,
challenged by different teams. The Princeton game, they were really challenged. It looked like Princeton had the upper hand, but somehow they maintained composure and were able to come back and win. They've had different moments throughout the season that have given them great experience.
That was the Princeton game that you and I had the good fortunes of calling this year, Sheehan. We thought that was no doubt a win for Princeton, but relentless is the word that you have to describe when talking about
awesome save. Gets it clear out very quickly. Oh, that looked like a great defensive check.
quickly off the restart. Maryland gives it away. Syverson unable to hold the pass. Whittle trying to track it down.
Maybe
and
a little
BC will be able to hold on for the final 10 seconds. As the first half comes to a close here at Laval Stadium, Kathy Reese and Maryland, the defending national champs, tested yet again in a rematch.
You led 6-2. BC came back, but you regained momentum. What were you seeing out there? Megan Taylor, Julia Bragg, just having such strong performances tonight. You know, what can you say about your defense's effort? You know,
especially when we needed them the most. You know, we just need to, again, translate some of these shot opportunities into goals.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Fight here at Stony Brook has lived up to the billing. Maryland started off strong, BC countered, and we stand 8-8 at the break in semifinal number 2. Back at Laval Stadium on the campus of Stony Brook University, the second national semifinal, Boston College and Maryland tied up at 8 with the winner heading to the national championship game on Sunday. Boston College, their route to getting here had to take down one of the toughest teams, if not the toughest team in the country this year in Stony Brook, led by the dynamic duo of Courtney Murphy, the all-time leader in goal scoring with 341, and Kylie Ohlmiller, a Tewaaraton. Between the ACC and the Big Ten, a rematch of last year's national championship game. First half highlights, stats, and second half action coming your way from the lights shining brightly on Laval Stadium on the campus of Stony Brook University as we get set for the start of the second half for semifinal number 2. Maryland and Boston College tied up at 8. Sheehan Stanwyck-Birch, John Brickley back with you. And it was a first half dictated early on by Maryland, fought back by Boston College. It's what we expected in a rematch of last year's national championship game. Just a back-and-forth battle.
It has been. Maryland had 6 of the first 8 goals. BC had 6 of the 8 last goals. So back-and-forth battles, some draw adjustments made by both teams, but very exciting game.
As we take a look at
they were able to score, really finishing so well. Boston College, just came back though, never got rattled, maintained the confidence, used that boxer's mentality, kept fighting back. Unbelievable Chess Chandler goal, great patience, and they responded and they brought the
in the first half.
First half fouls, Boston College 22, Maryland 7. Often hard to read those depending on where the fouls occurred, how many led to 8-meter opportunities, but definitely an area that BC will need to adjust the way they're playing the game so they don't put Maryland more on the 8-meter.
Hallie, you had a chance to talk with Coach Walker Weinstein earlier. What's the vibe for Boston College now heading into the second half?
Obviously, Coach Walker Weinstein was very happy with her team's comeback. She kept it really X's and O's at the half. She said, defensively, we obviously have to get out of 3 seconds, and offensively, we can't get into a 1-goal game with Maryland. We really need to capitalize on these shots here in the second half.
Sam Mapuzzo back to the draw control circle once again. 82 goals in her career, especially in this junior season. A Tewaaraton finalist matching up with Kaylee Hartshorn once again at the draw control circle. As the second half of this second national semifinal about to get underway. Won by BC. Apuzzo with the trailing Elizabeth Miller setting up the offense for Boston. Importantly, Maryland's got the lead.
We're seeing why in this game how important it is to win possession. Excellent first quick start to the second half. Just great movement, back and forth, getting the defender a little bit off balance, rotating, roll dodge back. All you need is one step on your defender and just allowing, when you're going one-on-one, that's what you want as an offensive player, just to beat your defender one-on-one. How they're going to need to stop Boston College, similar to how they had to stop Navy, is you got to send the double teams and slides earlier because BC is winning that one-on-one matchup.
Urbank with the hat trick, Boston College the lead, as Urbank, who did not play her freshman year, has been a lightning rod here tonight for BC.
Urbank, the 6th leading scorer on BC's roster, so doing an excellent job. And that's what you want at this point in the season, that any one of your offensive players out there can put up a couple goals.
Maryland quick to strike. And another foul that issued against Boston College, that time against Christina Walsh, the junior defender. Giles, top of the 8-meter arc, finds a lane, split dodge, dribbles one into the crease, picked up by Daly.
That was a great job by Hartshorn. You could see that just her presence running towards the ball caused that turnover.
Hartshorn, who was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year a season ago, has been vital in terms of the success at the draw control circle for Maryland. As Syverson feeding it. Great setup pass to Jen Giles, who goes right past Daly for the game-tying goal for the Terps.
Gets there, and then Giles takes the extra second, goes 5-hole right between the legs. That's how you get some momentum, these assisting goals, getting the whole offense involved.
It's a bit ironic that Jen Giles, who was the #1 assist leader on this team for Maryland, is the one scoring, and Syverson the one coming up with the feed inside to Giles, who has the hat trick tonight. And again, we are starting from square one, 9-9. And we're just a little bit over 2 minutes into this second half.
Play that she had her positioning. I think that could have been a charge.
All the Boston College staff was looking for. They've said now twice, 2 plays in a row, they've been looking for a charge on Cole.
To feed behind Cage. Marked by her defender, and the pass to Giles presents a loose ground ball picked up and a reset for Maryland. Trick for the sophomore out of Allentown, New Jersey.
Beautiful play by Brittany Griffin. Up top, Jen Giles gets it inside to Hartshorn, and she generates a lot of power, Hartshorn, by that jump shot. Cocks her arm back, fires it hard. You'll notice Maryland playing 6-on-6 offensively. Whittle still being face guarded. Before the first half, they had her stationed more behind the cage. These first few plays of the game, they've had her on the left-hand side of the field, far out, close to the sideline. So really opening things up. I think that'll allow Maryland to operate more from behind the cage. They didn't operate a lot behind the cage. A lot of times, Brittany Griffin
offensive rhythm. The draw control one as Miller with a heat of steam going inside that 8-meter arc. Arsenault, who came on quickly in that first half, has since cooled down a little bit as Boston College looking for their first ever win against Maryland. Urbank draws the slide.
BC getting the foul call that they've been looking for. The extension of the arms there with the shaft of the stick.
So it'll be Urbank taking it from the 8-meter arc. Already has a hat trick.
Great defensive effort, just really getting in quickly, so Urbank's not able to get a shot off.
Tess Chandler, 5 in maroon, part of a senior class for Boston College.
Held the ball for 2 more steps, coming around left-handed. If she's going to turn and shoot it, she's got to adjust it. She's made that shot a couple times, going high to high, and Taylor's reading that well.
7 saves for the 3-time reigning Big Ten goalie of the year, Megan Taylor. Now a foul on the other end, and it's going to be a man-up situation coming up for the Terps.
There.
It looked as if Taylor was anticipating Sheehan every single time that Apuzzo was going to go high, and that's what the junior did. Meanwhile, Maryland will be a man-up situation as Urbank was called for the foul, gets the 2-minute yellow card. Chandler works it down to the corner.
See Taylor Cummings in there,
whose sister Kelsey is on the team, and for Taylor, recently named the head coach of McDonough, the top powerhouse in Maryland.
this, and the blue line, and she's right inside the crease. Great call by the official looking at that. I'm going to have to correct you on McDonough, though, because they lost to my alma mater, Notre Dame Prep, in the championship, and won beat the I think it was 198 game win streak for McDonough. So
I've worked with you long enough never to cross you, so I'm just going to take
well,
you.
I'd be calling you. You can't imagine the feedback if I didn't say so. They're not. They are a top program, and they've been the top for a long time. So many amazing. It's amazing what they did, but they did get beat finally.
Hallie, you want to help me in this conversation at all, or no?
I mean, no, I can't help you there.
You know, you work with Sheehan and Hallie after a while.
Well, there's nothing I like more than just
You pick your battles, let me just say. But congratulations to Taylor on being the head coach of McDonough, the only three-time
Uzo does a great job getting open, off ball, just getting her stick free. Second goal of the night, 83rd this season. Arsenal draws a double team, fires it inside. Apuzo, she's covered, but a great job just getting her stick free. It goes high, and I do think she should start changing her levels. I think Taylor is reading that and is right there, but her momentum carrying her forward and then shooting back across her body is able to beat her.
Sam Apuzo, who has set the program record for goals in a single season, a Tewaaraton finalist. Hallie, you have the field level vantage point of watching Sam Apuzo. When you take a look at the intangibles that the junior possesses, what makes her one of the top players, if not the top player in the country?
You know, I just think it's her focus from the minute that whistle goes on the draw control. If she's not getting it herself, she's tracking it. She's tracking it down. She always knows where the ball is. And then offensively, I mean, we spoke about this with Kristen Gaudy in the first game. These shots all game long have not been going Sam Apuzo's way. So for her to still stay focused, be comfortable taking those shots, you know, that's leadership right there.
Apuzo looking to fire after the draw control win for Boston College. Either way, will set up free position here for the junior.
And draws shooting space there. She'll switch her stick, get her proper shooting stick. But nice composure there not to rip that, to draw the shooting space violation. I love her cause turnover aspect of the game. I think she's relentless on coming back, and oftentimes you'll see her come up with a turnover.
And the product of West Babylon. Now Hart strong to cage. Shelby Mercer one-on-one with Urbank.
Maryland sending double teams early.
Chandler with a great dodge towards cage. The bounce.
Chandler making her presence known in there. Just a strong body inside. Great movement, catching the Maryland defense running. They're caught chasing a bit, but Chandler powers through, switches her hand. I mean, that shot doesn't have a ton of power on it, but the placement is key.
Tess Chandler, the redshirt senior, with a hat trick. Urbank along as well with a hat trick, and BC, you have to give them such credit because even their coach, Acacia Walker-Weinstein, made a point of saying this week we have the firepower coming down to the crease. And that point was made once again by Tess Chandler.
Chandler, just such a leader, to a three-time captain. She had a knee injury, so she has a fifth year, but captain her junior, senior, and this her fifth year. So just amazing respect from her teammates.
Violation as Boston College unable to win the draw, so Maryland with a chance to tie it up on this possession as Lizzie Colson sets it into Hartshorn, and Maryland will be able to set up their offense. Top 10 in the country at over 16 goals per game. Hench works on the left wing. Giles looking to add to her point total.
See the cross check or check into the body.
Tied up at 11.
What a game, back and forth. Griffin draws a sea of Boston College defenders, and Hench reads that, attacks the cage on the run, catches that on the move. Great placement. Look at that top corner.
Hench now, who resides in Woodstock, Maryland. This time we are tied up at 11, back to the draw control circle in the battle that we have seen tonight between Apuzzo and Hartshorn.
Wow.
And Apuzzo comes away with the loose ground ball. Who's got 55 goals coming into this year. A stellar senior campaign for Hart out of Babylon, New York. Emma Schur, his twin sister Tara on the team. Schur, open shot to Apuzzo. Will have a free position shot to potentially give Boston College the lead back. Another save for the junior in cage for Maryland, none bigger than that one. Brigg, trail check, able to maintain possession. And now the errant pass leads to a turnover for the Terps.
Arsenal's 61st goal this season. Coaching staff told me they tried for 2 years to get her to go to goal, and she's exploded this year. Great placement. BC with the edge, 12-11.
Championship weekend once again returning to Stony Brook, New York. We saw earlier James Madison punch their ticket into the title game coming up. We're sending to their teams.
You know, it's funny. It wasn't emotional at all. It wasn't, let's go out there and get this. Both huddles were very X's and O's. This is what we need to do to execute this. You know, there was so much emotion in the first half with the big swing. It's just both of these teams are so hyper dialed in right now.
Would you get a sense, you were at practice yesterday for both Maryland and Boston College. What were the philosophies, Hallie, that you got a chance to see at those practices?
There were no breaks in the Boston College practice. They used yesterday as a day to get to work, you know, use that time to their
That's always an interesting sense, Sheehan, once you get from a practice, whether or not to go full mode or whether to just do a simple walkthrough. From your standpoint, what's the best philosophy to take for a team?
You know, it all depends. Now, with all the technology, a lot of these teams are using different monitors that gauge how many miles that kids are running in practice, in game day. So they really get a sense physically how well they're doing. So I think you got to realize, and sometimes that means they need to go harder. You know, like we shouldn't take off. We need to make sure our conditioning's a little bit better. But I like a little mixture of both. You want to have a little bit of fun, but you want to go hard. You want to make sure you have good rhythm and a lot of confidence going into game day. I also had to even let the other one go in.
Oh, what a beautiful shot on the run by Hartshorn. She's now got 4. And Maryland
Phenomenal night with her scoring. This originates off of Jen Giles' drive. She goes hard, which creates something. You see, just BC rotating the defense, sending the double team that opens up somebody else. That's one of the things. If as an offense, you want players to dodge hard and go to goal to make things happen, and then realize when to retreat out of that and pass the ball off, and that creates great offense.
And talk about execution. This is what makes Maryland, Maryland. That was the play drawn up in the break by the offensive coordinator, Caitlin Phipps. She said, you know, Jenny, drive, you're drawing double teams, and Kaylee's wide open all day down there.
Phipps, the former Tewaaraton winner. As you take a look at the Big Ten Coach of the Year, Kathy Reese. And more importantly, Maryland has evened up the advantage. Apuzzo and Hartshorn has just been an absolute epic battle at the draw control circle here tonight. As Whittle lofted up high, able to regain her composure. Apuzzo with a head of steam now, looking to set up offense for Boston College, trying to retake the lead. Around the crease, shot, what a beautiful one, orchestrated by Arsenal, and Boston College with a response, make it now 13-12 in favor of the Eagles. And Arsenal now with a hat trick.
Great answer for Boston. Good defense, and still wants to shoot right-handed, so make sure she keeps in her stick. There's no slide.
Hockey as well. And as Hallie touched upon in the start of this game, it's been her emergence in the absence of Kenzie Kent, who decided to redshirt this upcoming year, who has been a fantastic two-sport athlete at Boston College, having helped the ice hockey team to 3 appearances in the Frozen Four. As Boston College had made mention of it this year about the mental toughness they've had to go through, waiting a full year to try to get Maryland in a rematch of last year's national championship game. They had their first ever perfect regular season in the ACC this year. They faltered in the title game against North Carolina. As good defense by Giles, that one forces the turnover against Boston College.
This game has been end-to-end, not a slowing down.
And you can see Coach Walker Weinstein saying no fouls. That has been the Achilles heel tonight for Boston College. 28 compared to the 11 for Maryland.
Only translated into 6 free position goals for Maryland, but just 3 for BC. And we've noticed a lot this year throughout all the games that free position goals, they can determine the outcome of the game. We often talk about draw controls, but your performance on 8 meters can be a huge deciding factor in your success.
Hasn't hurt them tremendously as they hold the lead 13-12. The pass inside as Griffin battles at the end line for it. As we reach the midway point of this second half, winner moving on to face James Madison in Sunday's national championship game after the Dukes' dismantling of North Carolina. What a shot! Are you kidding me, Grace Griffin?
And then the beautiful cannon shot. Steps, plants, and rips it.
Hartshorn, who with another assist has been an added value piece this year, especially to the attack unit, along with Grace Griffin for Coach Kathy Reese, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Was heavily recruited, number 16, according to Inside Lacrosse, and Her first goal comes at the most opportune time to tie this one up at 13.
Going back to the foul conversation, and this is a game unlike basketball where fouls don't necessarily matter unless they result in a change of possession or the 8-meter opportunity. So a lot of coaches would like a foul count, some type of team foul count, because sometimes a lot of these fouls in the midfield, they are either not called or whistled, and it adds up. So oftentimes you can't get a sense. I'll often hear, oh my gosh, I saw the game had, 40 fouls. It must have been so rough for this team. And you say, well, not really. They just were calling, every little you swipe around the body, or it wasn't necessarily dangerous. There just was a whistle which results in a foul, but not necessarily a cross-check or a big point of emphasis.
But again, the mental toughness of Boston College has been pushed at times to the brink, and yet they've been able to come back on the scoreboard, most importantly, tied up at 13, with a chance on this possession to retake the advantage against the reigning champs. Urbank with a hat trick, marked by Colson, a great matchup. One-on-one. Apuzzo draws the slide from Maryland. In the crease. And Urbank will have a chance now with shooting space. And a free position shot awarded.
Shot.
Urbank, smart play, elects to give it back off to Apuzzo to reset.
Things up a bit more up top.
Chandler draws the slide, leaves the open shot for sure, unable to get the bouncer.
Just 6 seconds left in the possession clock. They got to get it in.
From the knees, unable to the back of these Boston College Eagles. A loss her freshman year in Philadelphia to North Carolina. Left wing. As Brindy Griffin, the sophomore attacker, angles her way back to the cage. Hench, who's got a hat trick here tonight for Maryland. Giles trying to go through a double team. And now a battle for the loose ground ball. Here's Griffin looking for her second. Just misses to the right of cage. Daly with the pressure. And again, this defensive unit for Boston College that returns Miller, Walsh, and Bell, all from last year's run of the title game again.
I think that both teams really responding when one team goes to score and then answering back.
Maryland looking for their third national title in the last 4 years. Meanwhile, for Boston College, this is a program without question Callie, I know you've got a lot more on where this program was and where they could be.
Boston College, they were our March issue centerfold this year. You know, they were shattering Cinderella, is what we said about the Eagles as they were heading into this season, and they were just, you know, fantastic. And I think that players like Sam Apuzzo, you know, that turns heads. That brought her to Boston College. But Acacia Walker said at the same time, we still look for the
Georgetown, I think, wanted to start her own path, and along with the alumni, we see a strong alumni from both Maryland and Boston College here, just how proud they are.
Second year, how does that philosophy and that mentality change?
You know, Sheen and I have spoke about this. When our Syracuse team made the championship weekend for the first time in 2008, there kind of were stars in our eyes. We were so excited to be here. And I think it was lost on us a little bit. When we came back in 2010, it was a bit more, okay, it's more business now.
I love it. I mean, we only made it 1 year, but there was just such an appreciation. And just from even making the NCAA tournament, I hope these players realize how awesome it is just to be selected in and at each step of the way and enjoy the process.
I've made it 3 years in a row, and I love every time I'm here. The action is incredible as Boston College and Maryland just in a title fight of epic proportions. You get the feeling. Tied up at 13. Which team is going to deliver that final strike and get a spot into the national championship game?
We mentioned that Kenzie Kent not on the field this year, opting to redshirt, but last year she was the star performer when Boston College, even they lost, the MVP of the tournament.
Arsenault trying to go down the alley. Instead, she will be set up.
And a yellow card issued to Lizzie Colson coming off the field. Check into the body, neck area. So these are, both teams going to have to be very careful on the cards. It is just 2 minutes, but it is releasable on a score. So oftentimes with an 8-meter, if you score right away, you're only man down for maybe a second.
Here's a chance for Arsenault to give Boston College the lead on this free position opportunity. Shot nearly dribbled in. Taylor with the save. But you think
still they've got the extra player on the field, so we'll see if they opt to put pressure on goalkeeper or double team here on the ride.
Hallie, in that situation, you have an opportunity on the free position. Was it smart for Boston College to go quick to cage, or would it have been a better opportunity to be able to hold and reset your offense?
Well, hindsight's certainly 20/20 there, but I think,
efficiency numbers on the 8 meters this year.
Carly
and it almost
Bell.
went in. The pipe was Megan Taylor's best friend right then.
We just saw Carly Bell with some great pressure defense against Caroline Steele, and now inside the 8-meter arc. It'll be shooting space awarded to Maryland.
A hard foul on Hartshorn. That's a push into the body there.
So Hartshorn, who tonight already has 4 goals and an assist. Fires a laser, point blank range, and Boston College still a man up for 15 seconds. Apuzzo behind cage. Even strength now. Still 40 seconds remain on the possession clock. Apuzzo, this is where the junior is so talented with the footwork and maybe the goal of championship weekend.
The fans love it. What a great score. Apuzzo with her fancy footwork behind, gets Grace Griffin tangled up in the net. Fake, and she slips it in. BC with the edge. It's 14-13.
Acacia Walker-Weinstein moments ago with her Tewaaraton finalist Sam Apuzzo, the ACC Attacker of the Year, with a goal that will be remembered for years to come. Watch the fancy footwork and then just simply fools Grace Griffin for the goal.
You know, that's the dangerous as a defender. You're able to go into the crease now, but oftentimes you can get tangled up behind the net. You see that more often happen in the men's game, but you have to be very careful when you're crossing back and forth over that goal because it's very easy to get a shoe stuck in there.
Her hometown is West Babylon, New York, holding the single-season Boston College record for not only goals but draws. A Tewaaraton finalist, would you consider her to be the favorite to win the award?
It's hard. I mean, to be honest, it's going to be a very tough battle. I'm looking forward to the event next Thursday night. I don't know if there's a favorite, to be honest. You know, it's not made. The criteria is based on your regular season. It's based on the tournament performance, based on kind of a whole slew of items. So it's going to be very exciting. We saw Kristen Gaudian for JMU have a great performance today in the first win of the semifinal matchup. We mentioned Kylie Ohlmiller and everything she's done for Stony Brook this year, shattering records, NCAA points. So there's, you know, Megan Whittle hasn't been needed much tonight so far, but they may need her in this game. They need some more scoring, so maybe they're going to need to utilize her more.
That's Apuzzo once again on point, Sheehan.
Apuzzo coming in strong. We talked about her draw controls, but that's her 4th goal of tonight. Her stick going non-stick side, far side in the net. She's made the necessary adjustments, and now she's having a lot of success scoring.
And Sheehan, you wouldn't say it, but I will. Sam Apuzzo is my favorite for the Tewaaraton. I just love what she's done all season long. Watch the way she plays. Every game-changing play that Boston College makes, she's around it. She's the slide and the ride.
even with the absence of Kenzie Kent, and I understand that that is not a factor, but what Apuzzo's been able to do in her junior campaign this year is simply remarkable. To have Boston College once again on the doorstep of a return trip to the national championship game. Under 7 minutes to go in this second national semifinal. Sam Apuzzo with 4 goals to lead the charge for Boston College. Arsenal draws the slide. Burbank unable to get a shot off, but shooting space awarded, so she will have a free position opportunity.
The way it used to be. We've had this in the game for a while. It's been great for the game. But another ping, that goalie save right there will get a fresh shot clock.
Acacia Walker-Weinstein, who was a player at Maryland when Kathy Reese was an assistant. The two embraced yesterday. In between practices, there is a love in this rivalry between those two head coaches, and a caused turnover as Shelby Mercer sets it up for Maryland on the clear. And the ride attempted by Boston College.
What a draw controls much of this game, but much of the difference in the score has been with the draws. BC with the edge, 17-13.
Brindy Griffin looking to feed, drawing the slide. Here's Hench, who's been working with a hat trick.
Megan Whittle back involved in the play.
Hartshorn eludes her defender momentarily. Now a reset for Maryland with 32 seconds left on the shot clock. Griffin had an opening momentarily with Hartshorn. Down to 10 on the possession clock. What a stance by BC's defensive unit. Steele shot on the run, whistle prior to.
And we'll see shooting space also.
Miller went down quickly on the shot attempt by Steele. Kathy Reese indicating it should be a goal for Caroline Steele. It does set up a free possession, and a free position, I should say, shot for Caroline Steele, the junior midfielder. Launches one far off the right side of the cage, and a nice defensive stop and a missed opportunity for Maryland.
It's very hard with the free movement and being able to position yourself. The defenders now go to that end line, and oftentimes you're seeing them get that missed shot. We're typically game.
And Hallie, what we're seeing is the same storyline being played out in semifinal number 1. James Madison had a sizable lead on North Carolina, continued to put pressure on the Tar Heels. What's the game plan and the execution for Boston College with a man up and a 2-goal lead on the defending champs.
You know, you mentioned earlier the boxing terminology. At the break, Acacia Walker said, we need to hustle. We need to press all over the field. We need to really just lay the knockout punch. And I just love how tough this
Lost a year ago in the national championship game at Foxborough, as Maryland would claim their 13th national championship. And is this the right play right now for Boston College, Sheehan? You still have 23 seconds left on the shot clock and 50 seconds on the man up.
Yeah, I think Boston College is operating nicely and using the clock to its advantage. I think Maryland should be a little bit more aggressive. They can score very easily, but the last few possessions they've had a hard time. That's
Tess
a huge
Chandler
stop.
in Giles with a quick move.
And another excellent hustle play defensively. Boston College running out that shot. You got to have backup there for Maryland.
Give credit to 28 in maroon, the junior Brooke Troy, on the hustle to the end line. And Boston College, their fan base, is 70 seconds away from a return trip to the national championship game. And now a timeout taken with 1:02 left on the clock. And the fan base that made their way from Chestnut Hill is starting to feel Sam Apuzzo, a Tewaaraton finalist, coming in, the headliner. And you take a look at the first half, Sheehan, Maryland's defensive unit simply made her a non-factor in the first half.
A couple of turnovers early on, but she didn't, let that get to her at all. Still had excellent play on the draw control, coming up with some ground balls, and then things started to go her way, scoring many different ways. Excellent footwork, the faking, taking the extra second on the shot, doing all the little things, which makes her a top 5 Tewaaraton nominee.
Sam Apuzzo, who had 3 of her 4 goals here in this second half, 10. And I always appreciate the fan bases that make the trip. The neon shirts for Boston College, well represented here at Laval Stadium tonight.
We've had a great crowd here, a lot of support for each one of the 4 schools involved.
We had close to almost 8,000 people fill in for Laval Stadium. Hallie, you were down on the sidelines. Give me a sense of what the game plan is going to be for both of these teams.
We spoke about it in the open. Dempsey Arsenal, just so athletic. Boston College is going to elect to start with her, give her the ball, try to see how much time she can run off the clock before they need to move it. They're going to overload one side offensively. And Maryland, it's go time. They just need to give it everything they have. 1 minute, 2 seconds on the clock. Their season relies on their performance right now.
And the pressure on this ride that leads to a timeout taken by Boston College. Moments ago, you just saw in that huddle with the coaching staff, Kayla Trainer, we have talked about it so many times, her influence for Boston College, and one of the best draw control specialists. She has been able to enhance Sam Apuzzo's ability inside the circle. Sheehan, from your sense, what has Boston College done to be in a position where they are 40 seconds away from a return trip to the national championship game?
I think never giving up. You know, they just didn't have the beginning, the first opening minutes. Maryland had the edge. They didn't get rattled. Here.
Meanwhile, for Maryland, just one loss on the season. They came in riding an 18-game win streak.
Today.
Meanwhile, for Boston College, they have had to come over so much mental toughness in losing Kenzie Kent to a redshirt season. And now frustration, you can tell, is starting to mount for Maryland. Lizzie Colson now issued a yellow card.
That's her second of the game, so she's finished playing. A lot of times as the time winds down, you'll see a lot of yellow cards be issued when a team is trying to get the ball back, just trying to get a stick check because they need the ball.
A senior class that has made it to 4 straight NCAA appearances, 2 championship weekends, and they down for the first time ever the Maryland. By the coaching staff for Boston College. It has been a remarkable journey for Acacia Walker-Weinstein, who has built this program up from its early foundation. And here they are, 1 win away from a national championship, as Hallie standing by with the coach for Boston College.
Acacia, in the first half, you saw a fight. You clawed back from a 6-2 deficit. In the second half, you took the lead, and you saw determination. How proud are you of this team?
I'm so proud. They're such hard workers. They were so level during that game. I told them that it was going to need everything that they had to beat Maryland because they're the best. And I think my girls competed really hard, and I'm so proud of them.
At the half, you told me you couldn't stay in a 1-goal game with Maryland, so you decided to make it a 2-goal game. One thing is certain, on Sunday we'll have a new national champion. How excited are you to be playing for the national championship for the 2nd straight year?
I think it's so exciting. I'm just so proud of them, and I'm happy to see their hard work pay off, and the fans and their dedication and commitment to our program, and I'm just so happy.
Congratulations, enjoy this.
Thank you.
Hallie, to put this win into perspective for Boston College, for the first time since 2004 when Virginia won the national championship, a team not named Northwestern, not named North Carolina, or Maryland is going to be in the national championship. We talk about the growth of this sport, Sheehan. We're seeing it right now here at Stony Brook.
It's awesome. You know, the underdog mentality. I think it's great to have new programs involved in this Final Four event. Coming into the national championship game, exciting, both hard-fought games against two very talented teams in UNC and Maryland. Focus on the draw controls, but I think, you know, it's a complete team game. JMU's win was a total effort defensively. Boston College, amazing job end to end. A lot of teams with a lot of energy and belief right now.
And Maryland, a team that has been known for their offense, held scoreless the last 14:47 of this game. And an amazing embrace as Boston College, the number 4 seed, is heading back to the NCAA National Championship game for the second year in a row. For my partners, Hallie Quillinan, along with Sheehan Stanwick Birch, I'm John Brickley. Boston College, a winner. They dethrone the champs. We will see you Sunday, noon Eastern on ESPNU for the national championship. Maryland and James Madison as we say good night from Long Island.